The United Kingdom Royal Navy aircraft carrier, HMS Queen Elizabeth, R08, and Italian carrier ITS Cavour, CVH-55D, on Monday performed a cross-decking and integration exercise of their embarked F-35B Lightning II Joint Strike Fighters southeast of Sicily in the Mediterranean, making Italy the second nation after the United States to operate the aircraft off the UK warship. The exercise had 3 phases. The first phase saw 2 U.S. Marine Corps F-35Bs from the Wake Island Avengers of Marine Fighter Attack Squadron, VMFA 211, from Queen Elizabeth landing on the Cavour. This was followed by an Italian Navy F-35B and an Italian Air Force F-35B from Cavour landing on Queen Elizabeth. The third phase saw F-35Bs taking off from the 2 carriers and flying interoperability flights, along with a joint flight formation of 4 F-35Bs, 1 each from the U.S. Marines, the UK Royal Navy, Italian Navy, and Italian Air Force. The UK Royal Air Force's 617 Squadron, the Dam Busters, embarked on Queen Elizabeth, is a composite squadron of Royal Air Force and Royal Navy personnel, though organizationally it is an RAF squadron. The fact that US, Italian, and UK F-35Bs are able to fly to and from one another's decks offers tactical agility and strategic advantage to NATO, Commodore Steve Morehouse, the commander of Carrier Strike Group 21, CSG-21, said in a Royal Air Force news release. Today's activity is a telling demonstration of the ability of the UK's flagship to work seamlessly with other nations. Italy is the 3rd nation to land an F-35B onto the deck of HMS Queen Elizabeth and the 7th military operating F-35 aircraft that the UK's Carrier Strike Group has exercised with on Carrier Strike Group 2021. Watching the exercise from Cavour were Italian Chief of Defense Staff, ADM, Giuseppe Cavo Dragone, along with Italian Navy Chief ADM, Enrico Credendino, and Italian Air Force Chief General Luca Goretti. Cavour earlier this year was in the U.S., arriving at Naval Station Norfolk AVA on February 13 and working with a test team from the F-35 Joint Program Office, JPO, as part of its effort to become certified to operate the F-35B. The ship arrived back home in Italy on April 30th. On Tuesday, Queen Elizabeth hosted a delegation of 30 NATO ambassadors to see F-35 operations from the ship. The delegation arrived on V-22 Ospreys and were joined by the Deputy Supreme Allied Commander Europe, Des Secours, General Tim Radford, and representatives from Italy, the Netherlands, the UK, and the US, with UK Minister for Defence Procurement Jeremy Quinn welcoming the NATO delegation. CSG-21 is now on the final leg of its 7-month deployment, which has seen the group travel over 40,000 nautical miles to the Indo-Pacific and back. Ships and aircraft from the group have operated and exercised with over 40 countries during the deployment. The group is currently dispersed and the original composition has changed. American destroyer USS, the Sullivans, DDG-68, detached from the group in late October and arrived home today at Naval Station Mayport. Fly UK replenishment ship RFA Tidespring A136 was replaced by RFA Tidesurge A138 on Saturday. Queen Elizabeth is currently with destroyer HMS Diamond, D-34, Tidesurge, replenishment ship RFA Fort Victoria, A387, and, as was when CSG-21 operated in the Mediterranean in June, Italian destroyer ITS Andrea Doria, D5-on-53. Frigate HMS Richmond F-239, which had previously been with Queen Elizabeth in the Mediterranean, has detached and arrived in Malta today for a port visit, while Dutch frigate HMNLS Evertsen F-805 has just completed a 3-day port visit in Catania, Sicily, and is on its way to rejoin the group. Also heading to rejoin the group is destroyer HMS Defender D-36, which transited the Suez Canal today, having previously conducted exercises and a port visit with Jordan. Frigate HMS Kent, F-78, is also likely heading out of the Middle East to join the group after supporting Combined Maritime Forces Bahrain operations. VFMA 211 also completed its embarkation on Queen Elizabeth, with the squadron departing today for Naval Station Rota, Spain, for the first leg of the voyage home. The UK Royal Air Force also announced today that the first F-35B from 617 landed at RAF Marham in the UK. Engineers will now determine the maintenance requirement ahead of the rest of the squadron returning next month, the RAF wrote in a social media post.